It's a program, it just kind of throws you together with a bunch of people you've never met from all different cultures and expects you to learn to work together. When you travel with a group of people, it's the best way to get to know everyone because everyone's in an unfamiliar experience, and when you have just a working dynamic a part of that, where you're supposed to create a project and actually bring it to market, it adds so much more value.
So we are part of the network of entrepreneurs of Mondragon Team Academy, in which we are inside the degree Leadership, Entrepreneurship and Innovation, International. Within this degree, we don't have exams nor teachers, but we learn about business and entrepreneurship by having to create our own startups. Basically, a combination of the learning by doing a Finnish model of Tiimiakatemia and the Mondragon Corporation, which is the biggest cooperative of the world, their philosophy and business model. We don't have exams nor teachers, but we have mentors and coaches that guide us through the process. So the way we are graded is by having some customers, books, and monetary goals that we need to achieve each year in order to pass. We are teampreneurs that manage our startups, our profits as a cooperative, the FunCompany, and support each other's startups and decide together.
2017, after having been studying in a conventional university and a conventional degree on business administration for 4 years, never got to really connect with the way things were being taught. You just finish your high school, you're 17, 18, and you're about to make the decision, what do I want to study? You find this program, you find Leinn International, you say, oh, I'm going to join. Oh, it's business, more hands-on, oh, it sounds interesting, I'm going to be traveling. First day, they put you in a plane, you fly to Shanghai, China. And I was like completely mind blown. Suddenly I land there, I meet this group of people from different cultures, different backgrounds, different reasons to be there, and they tell us, meet your friends, these are going to be your colleagues for the following 4 years. And now you have to make a company with them, and for the following 4 years you're going to have to make business and make sustainable projects with them. And the second thing they told you was like, they kicked us out and they told us, off you go, try to make money. This was a quite shocking start. But actually it was the beginning of something that we didn't know it was going to be the beginning of a very interesting adventure. The reason why we decided on the FunCompany was it was a bit more complex than all of that. Just, yeah, of course we like having fun. Our motto is we take fun seriously. Basically because we really want to bring into the business world that business can also be fun. Because we came into this world and into this industry where business is done in suits with ties, and that there's not much love and smiles. And we said, okay, we're young, we have this image that they won't take us seriously, so we're gonna prove that even though we haven't got this serious appearance, we're gonna prove that we can be as professional or even more professional than a lot of businesses. And at the same time, we want to enjoy the process with our customers.
What I really like about Leinn is that it allows you to do self-introspection by triggering you. So when you work with a team, you see yourself reflected in others. And that is a way that you can use to understand your weaknesses, or where are your flaws, or even your issues. And when you have that knowledge is when you are truly able to work against them. For me, I think that is a very, very important factor that will lead you to a successful life.
We have learned so much from each other and from working with people from different cultures that I believe it to be one of the strongest points of FunCompany.
I've learned to understand the consequences of your words and actions in the culture that you're in. Specifically between the East and the West cultures, they have completely different styles of communication, confrontation, and giving feedback. And as a team, we've rode the roller coaster, experienced the ups and downs of that challenge, and we're a lot closer now because of it.
Our members came from a lot of different countries. I thought myself were very used to multinationality or those culture shock, because I've been in Canada, just spending time for chilling with family and working was very different. I think that is where I feel culture shock the mostly. Especially when I was in Spain, it's a very different type of country and culture from my perspective of common ground. For example, in a government documentation, when we have to prove something, the whole process was different. For going to like police office, I have to book everything beforehand. In Korea, it's very different. We just can go there and then take the numbers. They cover it really fast, efficiency, in a hurry somehow. But in Spain, they took like a lot of time for safety, buffer, and also how they work. From my side, was very slow. But from there, what I learned is it's okay to be slow.
So one of the main business cultural differences that we found, for example, in terms of proposals, when we were working in Go for Visual, we were drafting our proposals was by outlining the services very directly with the prices and what was the benefits that they were getting out of them. And in comparison to, for example, how we were presenting them in China or Korea, which is the holistic way. This is based on, for example, the culture map, which is a book that I love about business culture and how to adapt to each. In China and Korea, we were presenting first the why of our service, why companies should use it, explaining first what are the reasons around for our service, and then go into more in detail of what we are providing or what we are offering. And here we weren't being that direct with prices, but we were adapting more to the company's needs. Whereas in the US, it was just like da 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 da. For example, a big difference between the US business culture and Spain, that it's my case, it's that in Spain we work to live, and in the US they live to work, which has also been a funny difference between, for example, Rob and my team.
Business culture and culture changes with the location. For instance, for an e-learning service that we offer in Asia, we realized that by the beginning we were offering group lessons, but what the market wanted was also changing based on the culture because they were demanding individual lessons. And I think that that shows in great way how some cultures are more relationship-based or more individualistic, and how the most important thing by the end of the day is that you need to adapt to the culture and the business culture of where you are working.
Relationships is one of the biggest key in business, and making good contacts and powerful contacts. Because yeah, if we think about it, the Western kind of culture is like numbers, and I don't really care who you are, but if the numbers fit, and if I'm interested in a proposal that you send me and vice versa, perfect, fits. But to really make powerful business, you need to make powerful friends.
So during these 4 years, we've been moving from country to country. I think that we've been able to develop a problem-solving attitude when we were facing uncertainties. And we have been able to adapt our projects like in record speed. Last year in 2020, we were in China. We were supposed to be there in Asia for the whole year, but due to COVID, we needed to come like from one day to another to Korea, and then in a month to Berlin. So at that time I was working in a project related to visual thinking. We had to adapt it from China to Korea. And in Korea we realized that it was not suitable because the market was not ready. And whenever we went to Berlin, we had to adapt it again.
Many times we've been joking around between us that rather than expertise in entrepreneurship, we have a master on dealing with uncertainty, because all these years have been, we've learned a lot, but they've been a chaos in some other aspects. We didn't know sometimes we were going to travel, we had to change destinations, visa problems, having to find a house to live all together, adapting our projects very quickly. So that's been a skill that we've been mastering, and well, it's not something bad for an entrepreneur, being able to hustle and to adapt quickly. Some of the challenges when facing uncertainty was having to create our networks all over again. It takes some time, also depending on the country, it was different how to adapt to it, but adapting our projects in our whole network, sometimes it just worked out in such a different way that you had to be fast, you had to adapt fast to the culture. Luckily, we're now based long-term somewhere, but even though it was good to get knowledge from different business environments. We were planning to stay for a year in China. It was already long-term. We were going to establish there, finish our degree there, and we were actually 3 months waiting to go because of visa problems, preparing and everything. We had everything settled down, 2 suitcases. We established there, some even adopted a cat. We were creating our long-term strategies for our projects, actually very detailed strategies and structured. Well, Corona was going on, And at first it wasn't something serious, we were joking about it, but then it became something serious and they told us from one day to another, okay, pack your things and leave to Korea because they're going to close the country.
At the end, in the last 4 years, as I said, we've been working and we've been living in many different places, many different countries. Having lived this opportunity makes me not to be afraid and even to be willing for the following years to go to wherever it is, even if it's a big city, a small village, South America, Oceania or Africa, to keep discovering cultures, to keep enjoying, to keep learning from people and places. That is one of the biggest learnings I believe you could get. The fact that we bring 15 people or even more from different cultures living together every day, working together, I think we got to know about cultures fully.
Starting from the fact that we haven't got schedules. We are not in a conventional degree. So suddenly you're faced into this new reality that you haven't got a schedule, you haven't got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, this kind of lesson, and then this other lesson. And by the end of the semester, you have a test, and if you pass that test, it's okay. You have to figure it out by yourself. You have to go out there, start a project, and with that project, you have to be the one deciding how much time do I want to dedicate to this, what is it that I need to learn to be able to develop this. All of these little ingredients that actually represent what real life is are thrown to us since day one. I think this is one of the biggest learnings I get from this, but nowadays I don't really care not knowing what's going to happen to me next month or even in 2 weeks' time. I know, because I've proven myself and I've been exposed to that situation many times, I know that I'm going to be able to adapt to it as soon as it happens.
The biggest challenge was the diversity. Actually, the interesting on the culture or cultural diversity is that it's really hard to say which is your cultural characteristic, let's say. The only way to get to know is knowing the difference with other cultures. So it was the true, pure experience of how I different am, and also being able to understand the others. You can't manage to overcome those difference of diversity, then actually you cannot build anything, because as I want to change the world, which is the education system in South Korea, I cannot do myself, basically. I have to lead the people, and I have to inspire them, and I have to go together with the same direction, having the same visions. In Leinn International, there is no common sense. Something can be right in this culture, something can be wrong in that culture. So starting point is that having this mindset of difference is different, difference is not wrong, and take it from heart is the starting point. And actually we took a lot of time to get that point, and then once you touching that point, then is the point that you can start building the trust each others, and then it's the moment that you can inspire each others and you can head in the same directions as a team.
One of the biggest golden mistake was when we split it up the team. So back in 2020 on February, March, we needed to have an important decision. So we considered to split the team. So more than half of the team went to Berlin and the other they stay here in Korea. So it was a really hard process because we needed to really trust each other with huge time differences. At that time we needed to create a reliable environment where we could support each other so we could carry out the project.
I think that the golden mistake for us has been not developing our projects further to the fullest and replicating what we know that it already worked. So one example could be in Bilbao. We did an event called Euskoria, whose objective was to bring Korean culture to the Basque Country, so they got to know it, because K-pop, it was very popular at that time. And we never did a second edition, which I think it is something that we failed in. Although we tried, we never were able to replicate it.
I did believe that common sense existed, but now I have clear it doesn't. What I can be thinking about a topic can be completely different about what other people from my different similar background and even more from different backgrounds can be thinking, even the easiest thing to understand is understood very, very differently by different people, and that makes that miscommunication and that misalignment made most of the problems these last 4 years. What for some people culturally could be respectful or disrespectful, for some others will be the completely different thing. And managing that, learning people's cultures, people's habits, and understanding that what other people are doing, even though it could disrespect or harm you, it shouldn't, because of the point of understanding that they are talking from. It's something to take into account always. The relationship we created after 4 years living and working together, where all the responsibility of the company relied in all of us, has been very, very special. So I think we got to understood each other way more than what we ever expected. And now we are a multicultural group with, I will say, a very, very similar vision point of anything that happens. So we don't have those misunderstandings anymore, or at least not that big.
Living together in Seattle, doing business with different kind of members and suffering the struggles of maybe not getting to the points, or maybe not getting to like the points that we get, or the challenges that we get, or the monetary objectives that we are supposed to, that's really struggling. Maybe in conventional university, you just don't get the test right. But here you need to like survive as a business and as an idea, like every week motivate yourself to like do new things. At the same way that you're not in your hometown, you're not in the space in which you feel comfortable of. And it really makes it kind of two-way difficult, which you get used to. So I guess that it's just bad experiences, but you just turn into learning super quick and you just forget about it.
Starting a company is very difficult. Living abroad is difficult. Starting with a multicultural team is difficult, I believe. So doing all this without any experience, without any money to be invested, was very challenging, but we've managed to do it. And I think in the future we will never face as complicated situations as the ones we lived in that sense to develop projects. So it was good that we experienced that in a more or less comfort zone of the university degree, because in the future, whenever everything gets even more real, we will be ready to play in the different situations we are, no matter not having the investment we need, or being in a multicultural team, or being in a country where you don't even speak the language you are.